War does not always start with bombs. Sometimes it begins with words, fear, and long history. The tension between Iran and Israel did not appear in one day. It slowly grew over many years because of politics, religion, power, and safety concerns. Many people hear about rockets, threats, and attacks in the news, but they do not fully understand why this conflict exists. Some think it is new, but its roots go back more than 40 years. This story is not about choosing sides. It is about learning facts and understanding history step by step. When we understand the past, we can better understand the present. So today, let us calmly explore why Iran and Israel have tension and how it affects the world. When they were not enemies. A long time ago, Iran and Israel were not enemies at all. During the 1950s, 1960s, and early 1970s, these two countries had quiet friendship, even though they did not talk about it loudly. The ruler of Iran at that time was Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, and he liked good relations with many countries, including Israel. Iran sold oil to Israel, and in return, Israel shared farming tools and some military knowledge to help Iran. Sometimes officials from both countries met secretly for trade and planning. People in Iran and Israel sometimes felt calm and hopeful because there was no serious tension between them then. The big change in 1979. Everything changed suddenly in Iran in 1979 because of the Islamic Revolution that took place when the Shah lost control. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini became the new leader and started the Islamic Republic of Iran. This new government strongly opposed Israel and said it did not recognize Israel as a real nation. From that year, Iran's leaders spoke against Israel many times in speeches on national TV and radio. Israel then began to see Iran as a future danger that might harm its people and land. Because of this change, people in both countries felt tense and worried, and friendly relations ended. The year 1979 became the big turning point for their future problems, and many families and children in both places felt uneasy when they heard about the conflict. Different beliefs and big disagreements. One of the main reasons for the long fight between Iran and Israel is that both sides have very different beliefs about religion and politics. Israel was formed as a Jewish state in 1948, and its people believe it must protect Jewish lives and land forever. Iran became an Islamic republic in 1979, and its leaders believe they should support Muslim and Palestinian people in the region. Because each side feels very strong about what is right, they have big disagreements that are hard to solve. When leaders talk about these things, many ordinary people also feel scared or angry. Some people in Iran say they are protecting their religion and beliefs, and some people in Israel say they must defend their homes and families. Support for groups that fight Iran has given support to groups that fight against Israel, and this has made the conflict bigger. For example, Iran gives money, weapons, and training to a group called Hezbollah in Lebanon. In 2006, there was a big and long battle between Hezbollah and Israel that made many families scared and sad. Iran also supports a group called Hamas in Gaza, and this group fought against Israel in big conflicts in years like 2008, 2014, 2021, and 2023. Israel feels very threatened when these groups are armed and ready to fight. Many people in Israel worry about rockets and explosions near homes and schools. Iran says it is helping what it calls resistance groups who fight for their rights. But many people around the world feel upset when innocent people get hurt. This war through other groups is often called a proxy conflict, because Iran and Israel are not always fighting directly, but through others. Nuclear worry and deals. Another big issue between Iran and Israel is Iran's work on nuclear technology. In the early 2000s, Iran started building nuclear machines that can make energy, but many countries worried the same machines could make nuclear weapons, which are very dangerous. Iran says it only wants peaceful energy for electricity, but Israel and many other nations fear Iran might one day build weapons. In 2015, an agreement called the Iran nuclear deal was signed between Iran and world powers to limit Iran's nuclear work and make things safer. But in 2018, the United States left the deal, and since then, tension has grown again. Israel has warned strongly that it will not allow Iran to have nuclear bombs. Because of this, many people feel afraid and uncertain about the future, and leaders around the world meet often to talk about ways to prevent a big war. Secret cyber fights and online attacks. In the last many years, Iran and Israel have not only fought with weapons and soldiers, but also with computers. They have used cyber attacks, which are secret online actions that harm computers, water systems, banks, and electricity. Around 2010, a computer virus called Stuxnet damaged Iranian nuclear machines, and many experts believe Israel and the United States were involved in creating it. Iran, in return, has been blamed for trying to attack Israeli water systems and business computers. These cyber attacks are very quiet and happen without soldiers or bombs, but they still cause fear because people do not know when the next one will happen. Airstrikes in Syria. The skies over Syria became very dangerous after 2011. A big civil war started in the country. Iran sent soldiers and weapons to help the Syrian government. They also tried to make bases far from Israel, about 300 to 500 kilometers away, to be ready if there was fighting. Israel did not like this because it worried that Iran's weapons could get close to its land. Around 2013 and 2014, Israel started many airstrikes inside Syria. Sometimes they did airstrikes many times in 1 month. Most of the strikes happened very early in the morning, between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. They destroyed missile storage places or trucks carrying weapons near towns. Iran mostly did not attack back directly from Syria, but the worry kept growing every year. Ordinary people in Syria were scared. Nights became loud and frightening with explosions near their homes. Life was harder for families, and children could not sleep well because of fear. Direct attacks and rising danger. For many years, the fighting was mostly indirect, but in April 2024, everything changed. Iran sent a big wave of drones and missiles directly to Israel. This happened after attacks on Iranian offices in Syria. Israel said it would fight back strongly to protect its towns and cities. Many missiles were fired, over 50 drones and missiles. Israel's defenses stopped most of them before they could hit homes. Leaders from the United States, Europe, and Arab countries became very worried. They were afraid a bigger war could start fast. They asked both sides to stay calm. They warned that more attacks could cause huge damage. These events showed that the conflict is serious and dangerous. Many people in the region could get hurt if it gets worse. The role of the United States. The United States has helped Israel for many years. This affects how the fighting continues. The U.S. gives Israel lots of money every year for weapons and defenses. These weapons help stop missiles. At the same time, the U.S. punished Iran with economic sanctions. Sanctions stop trade and freeze money accounts. These punishments make life harder for ordinary people in Iran. Food and fuel get more expensive, and jobs are harder to find. Iran sees the U.S. and Israel as enemies. When U.S. and Iran relations get worse, Israel also feels more pressure from Iran and its friends. This makes the situation more complicated for everyone. Regional power competition. Many countries in the Middle East want to be safe and strong. Iran wants to be strong in countries like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. They try to do this by helping groups or making friends with governments there. Israel wants to keep its borders safe, so no attacks or rockets can reach its people. Both Iran and Israel want power and control, but each side sees the other as a threat. For example, when Iran builds ties with governments in Iraq or Syria, Israel becomes nervous because weapons could be closer to its towns. This fight is not only about religion, it is also about land, safety, politics, and power. Ordinary people living in nearby countries feel scared and worried about what might happen next. How it affects ordinary people. While leaders argue and armies prepare, ordinary families suffer the most. In Israel, families often worry about rocket alarms late at night or very early in the morning. Children sometimes have to run to shelters in seconds after alarms. In Iran, families worry about rising prices and losing jobs because of economic sanctions. Young people in both countries hear bad words about the other side, and this creates fear and misunderstanding. Trade and travel become harder. Tourists may not want to visit places near the fighting. Countries like Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq also feel the problems because they are between Iran and Israel. Sometimes people need food, water, and safe homes as refugees. Is peace possible? Peace between Iran and Israel is very hard, but not impossible. History shows that countries that were once enemies can become friends later. For example, the United States and Japan became friends after World War II. For peace between Iran and Israel, leaders need to talk honestly and build trust slowly over many years. Groups like the United Nations often ask both sides to stay calm and negotiate. Peace needs patience, courage, and willingness from both sides. Reducing attacks and threats, opening talks, or limiting military exercises near borders could help lower tension. Small steps can slowly make the region safer for ordinary people. Understanding instead of hating. The fighting between Iran and Israel comes from history, different beliefs, fear for safety, desire for power, cyber attacks, and airstrikes. After 1979, this conflict became stronger and more complicated. Many ordinary people's lives were affected. Both sides say they want safety for their people, but they also fear each other a lot. Learning facts in a calm and simple way helps everyone understand why the fighting exists. Studying history and talking about problems kindly is important. Choosing understanding over hate can help make the world safer for children and families. If you found this video helpful and informative, please like and subscribe for more educational content. Share this video so others can learn the facts clearly. Understanding global issues helps us think wisely and build a more peaceful future.